Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dave, Psychiatry, reminding you that if medication helps you, if it helps your condition, then you have a medical problem, not a mental problem. Medical, not mental, that's the theme of this channel. So sometimes I make videos that are encouraging, sometimes they're educational, sometimes they're a little bit of a rant. Today is more of an encouragement video. This relates to a gal that I saw a little while ago, a couple months ago actually. Haven't gotten around to making this video because of the fire and things like that. And it's a story about how the channel can be helpful to people that are around you. And basically it goes back to this gal who had a very beloved cousin, a person that spent a lot of time with her, that was very dear to her, that treated her like a sister. But when she started getting help for a brain chemistry problem, started saying things like, well, you don't need that stuff. I don't know why you need that. Was really unsupportive and essentially got to the point where it wasn't just not supportive, but confrontational and calling her names, specifically saying things like, hey, you're just a pillhead. Well, this is obviously very hurtful to this person who was just trying to, do the equivalent of taking blood pressure medicine or insulin for diabetes or wearing glasses for a visual problem. And it really caused a lot of strain on this relationship. And fortunately, my patient, the gal, was able to share some of these YouTube videos with her cousin. And eventually the cousin came back around and said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things. I didn't understand. And so she's gone from, you're a pillhead, to, I'm sorry, I get it now. So I've made a video or two before about this where good things happen because people get the education. And I think part of what I want to amplify here is that I see stuff on television about, hey, if you're depressed, or if you're anxious or worried, you take medicine. Well, if you love yourself more, if you're more kind to yourself or surround yourself with kind people, that really doesn't fix medical problems. If you have cancer, you don't just love yourself more and have the cancer go away. If you have diabetes, you don't just surround yourself with good people, you take insulin. And if you've got people in your life that tell you that, hey, sorry about your cancer, but you don't need chemo, you probably don't need those voices in your life. And maybe those people come around and say that they're sorry and they apologize. And I think what I wanted to say is that one of the things I feel very good about doing these YouTube videos is that in certain circumstances, it really is helpful to take somebody who is very, very negative and can turn them around to somebody who's now positive and supportive. When I teach people about the channel in my office today, I did it once already this morning, I did it yesterday a couple times. The channel really can be viewed as a pyramid. I might have said this before in previous videos, but I'm just going to repeat it. There's a pyramid that I talk about. The top of the pyramid is me preaching that if it's medical, it's not mental. And I think people need to hear that because the word mental health just gets so used in so many different ways that nobody really knows what they're talking about. I don't disagree that there's mental. I don't disagree that we all have ideas and fears and thoughts and sometimes behaviors. And so there's certainly a psychological experience. But if you take a medication and it fixes you, that makes it medical. So that's the preachy part of the channel. That's the top of the pyramid. The second part of the pyramid, the second layer, is teaching people that I work with directly, reinforcing what I've actually taught them in the office. And for those of you who are not my patient, educating you and teaching you about your particular condition. But the third layer and the biggest layer of the pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid, the thickest layer and the widest layer, is the people that are around you that fall into basically two categories, those who are supportive and those who are not. The people who are supportive, the channel hopefully encourages them. Yes, you're doing a good thing. Yes, if you had diabetes, you would get help. Yes, if you had cancer, you would get help. So yes, you've got a brain chemistry, get help. But the other half, the people that are not supportive in your life, the ones that say things like, why do you take that junk? Why do you take that crap? People call it crap sometimes. Or, I don't think you should be taking that stuff. They're very derisive about medications in a way they wouldn't be about blood pressure medicine or diabetes medicines or cancer medicines. So trying to educate those unsupportive people, well, we can do it one of two ways. I've talked about pushing strings and pulling strings before, and you can watch that video if you want about the power of paradox. Today's really not about paradox. It's about people that are getting the help that they need, having the confidence that they should show them videos like this to help them share the idea, to get people to understand that this is simply another medical problem. It's not behavioral health. It's not even mental health, even though it gets called behavioral health and mental health. And I say this repeatedly. I'm not a mental health professional. I can't point your mental. I can only point to your medical. I can point to your brain. That's where my medications work. And so for this particular patient who for years had been basically under the very negative pressure of a loved one, someone very dear to her, that called her a pillhead. Well, that got turned around with some basic education, that this is just no different than any other medical condition. So I'm really happy to tell the story. I'm glad the gal told me the story. I'm glad to share it with you. I hope it's helpful to you, and I hope you share it with others. I'm Dr. Dave Psychiatry. Thanks for coming to see me today.